I think we could call today Why Wednesday or Why Wednesday?
Why are we questioning Wednesday?
Well, aren't you curious why we call it Wednesday?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, you kind of ruined that for me because I'm thinking we got this great guest on today, and he is a very curious man.
Oh, okay.
And, you know, like when my kids used to ask me, Dad, why is the sky blue? Where is God?
Yes.
How come Mommy married you? Those kinds of things.
They don't ask you that.
No, I think they understand that.
They might
clear.
think that, but they probably don't say it out loud.
That's right. Hey, I don't know if you remember a cartoon, Curious George.
Oh, yes.
Curious George was a curious
No, you're
little
not gonna
monkey.
say it. Oh, please.
Do you remember
Help
that one?
me.
The man with the yellow hat. Now, George couldn't actually ask questions because he was a monkey. He made monkey noises, but he was always exploring.
Yes.
And I know as a kid, I was always very interested in curious kind of person, and maybe that's why I went into, a profession where I got to ask questions. So we've got Casey Tygrett coming up, and he has written a book about becoming curious, because before children turn the age of 4, they ask hundreds of questions. And then as you get older, we ask less and less and less, and we should be curious about spiritual things as well.
So are you explaining Wednesday today?
Well, I might. Go on Wikipedia.
We'll have to watch to see. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll be visiting with James Merritt. I brought back these segments from Atlanta, Georgia.
Great.
He's going to talk about, you ever felt like when you pray that God isn't even listening, that you're getting nowhere, that you're hitting a wall? We're going to give you some tips about prayer today to help you break through that.
Yeah, I've had that happen a few times. God, why didn't you answer my prayer? And Robbie Simons will join us. He has some thoughts on simplicity. And Cheryl, it all starts right now.
Tomorrow on 100 Huntley Street, media mogul and New York Times bestselling author Bishop T.D. Jakes.
It's about finding a way in which I can be a better conduit of what he created me to express in the earth.
Today we are looking at the biblical book of Psalms, chapter 86, with Dr. James Merritt. And this chapter is about prayer. And Dr. Merritt, you say that many times, and I know I've experienced this, it feels like your prayers aren't getting anywhere, that they're hitting the wall. But this chapter actually gives us some secrets about how our prayers can be effective.
Yeah, I tell the story. I love this story. I've been to Israel about 26, 27 times. I love to go to the Wailing Wall. And I tell the story about a reporter that was looking for someone that prayed regularly, and she saw this man went there several days. And so she walked over to him and she said, "Sir, how long have you been praying here?" And he said, 50 years. And she said, "Really?" She said, "Well, what have you been praying for 50 years? He said, "I've been praying that there would be peace between the Jews and the Gentiles." And she said, "Well, how do you feel after 50 years? He says, "I feel like I'm talking to a wall." And we all feel like that. We all feel like sometimes our prayers are bouncing off the ceiling and they're not really getting anywhere or going anywhere. And then we come to this psalm and we realize nothing could be further from the truth. That number one, God is a forgiving God. So even when you're not at your best spiritually, even when you're not hitting on all 8 cylinders, God understands it, God knows it. You can always come to God and talk to Him. And then we need to remember that God is a forever God. He's always there. The wonderful thing about God is you don't have to make an appointment. You don't have to sit in a waiting room, and you don't have to pay for His time. He's always there waiting to listen to you whenever you want to talk to Him. And then we remember that God is a faithful God. He keeps His promises. When you come into God's presence and you lay a request before God and you have a promise before you, you can know He will keep that promise. He will do exactly what He says He will do. And then we remember that God is a faultless God. He never makes a mistake. He always does what is best. He always does what is right. Well, if that's the kind of God that we're praying to, what greater motivation, Cheryl, should you and I and everyone who knows God and believes in God, what greater motivation should we have to take time every day on a constant, continuous basis to enter into His presence?
I talked to a ton of people who pray for many years without seeing that result, and then there comes the day. All of a sudden it happens. And so I think persistence in prayer and having what you said, that faith in God that He will hear and He will answer is so important. You've taken so much wisdom from the Psalms. You've written this new book for us, this 52 Weeks of the Psalms. It's a new year, great time to make a new start into the Bible. Yeah,
there's no book I found in the Word of God, honestly, that builds faith in God more than the book of Psalms. And for your gift to this ministry, we would love to send you a copy today.
Thanks so much for partnering with us on that, Dr. James Merritt. And if you want to get your copy of 52 Weeks of the Psalms, we would love to send it to you for your best ministry gift. Just give us a call at 1-800-265-3100. You can also give online at crossroads.ca.
From James Merritt comes an insightful, inspiring, and comforting journey through the Psalms.
James, we are so excited that you've partnered with Crossroads to offer your new book, 52 Weeks Through the Psalms.
Well, I'm honored to be with you as always, and this book is fascinating because in it, you're going to learn how to understand about the provision and the power of God. You're going to learn how to trust in the approachable presence of God, and most of all, you're going to be able to grow in your joyful response of God. We're going to have a great time.
As you begin a new year, Crossroads encourages you to embark on weekly readings in the Psalms. To make it easy and most meaningful, we'd like to give you a complimentary copy of this new book, 52 Weeks Through the Psalms, when you make your January gift to support 100 Huntley Street and Crossroads' unique media mission. We're waiting to hear from you, so call now, 1-800-265-3100, or make your donation at crossroads.ca/donate.
And we do encourage to get your copy of 52 Weeks Through the Psalms by pastor and author James Merritt. He is so wise. Don't you love that? You can approach God no matter where you are in life, how you feel like you're failing, how you feel like you're not that spiritual. You can just come to him, and he is faithful and good, and he wants to hear from you. I hope that you are encouraged today. And thank you so much for your support of this ministry. We do appreciate you so much. Well, we are passionate here about storytelling, sharing the stories of lives who've been positively impacted by God. It doesn't matter your age or your circumstances. He can meet you anywhere. Take a look at Maddie's story.